What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here with my Wealth Wednesday partner, Stacey Tisdale.
Happy Wealth Wednesdays, everybody. We are taking you way up today with the one, the only, the people's champ. Sain is here, and I don't know what we would even say about Sain. You are
a best-selling author, two-time best-selling author.
Yes.
You are one of the top financial coaches in the world. You're a massive philanthropist with your 100 Days of Giving initiative.
Top 100 money expert on Forbes.
Yep.
Major salute to them.
YouTube creator, all that stuff. But let's jump right into one of the most interesting things about you.
Let's do
we
it.
have your beautiful wife here, quiet. But y'all retired debt. I'm just gonna put it out there. You retired debt free at 37 years old.
Woo!
37 years old.
That is amazing.
How does somebody retire debt free?
Stacy got right to it, man.
I mean, I got
The headline.
Retired.
Let's start with the
37.
headline.
It's like enough.
we were very, very intentional, man. We met at Michigan State, just two poor, humble, hardworking kids, man, I like to say. So we knew, Stacy, that we didn't have a lot of people to depend on. So when it came to money, I would see how she was moving, and I was taking my little refund check and making sure I was moving right. And I'm looking like, okay, I'm feeling her, and I'm loving how she's handling her money. I ain't seeing her do too much. And so early on, when we first got together, I'm looking like, okay, she can cook. I would come home from practice. She was just, you know what I'm saying, we was friends before all of this. But I was seeing traits, and I knew how I was. I was an athlete.
It's like the best man or something.
Man, as an athlete, I was looking like, you know what, Stacey and Angela, like a lot of athletes go broke 3 to 5 years once their playing career was done. So I was an athlete at Michigan State at the time, looking at this kind of stuff. And so I peeped that in her, and I would just see how she would move. And I knew I was broke, holding on to every dollar I had of my refund check. And that was one of the things we took into our marriage, which was like, you know what, saving, being intentional, owning everything. We own our houses, we own all our cars. And so we don't have those payments going out reoccurring every month. We were able to stack. We were able to set aside going on trips for 6-7 months at a time to just be intentional about paying down debt, paying off debt. And that's how we were doing it, but it was just consistent behaviors week in and week out, month in and month out.
Oh, I have so many questions. So do you believe in good debt? Because I know you said you own everything and paid everything off and paying down those debts.
Angela.
How much debt was it? Student loan debt is not small.
So student loan debt, we had maybe 75,000 of
Each?
that. Maybe, yep. And then when it came to, I told you I was broke. I was living off credit cards. I got family with stuff in my name. So it was a lot to Angela's point about even cleaning up the credit part. But that's the work I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff we did as a foundational piece. Like, look at what we got. Stuff that's in our name that we did, stuff that's in our name that we ain't got nothing to do with. But we were making those steps to, again, rectify those things, get those things off our credit report. So do I believe in good debt? I do believe there is good debt. I'm not a huge advocate for it because we are debt free. And debt free is our secret sauce. We often say the reason why we're able to be so philanthropic in all the stuff we do and from a philanthropy standpoint is because we don't have any debt. We own everything, and we're big on that. I still drive a used 2010 BMW, for example. She drives a 2025 Range Rover. Strategically, we do things like that for tax purposes.
The weight of the car.
We're very savvy with that kind of stuff. But I speak to that because with Range Rover, we walk right in there, 15 minutes flat, and walk right out because the cash was on hand, the money was there. We don't have ain't no need to run no credit or none of that stuff. We have great credit, but we also have the on-hand liquid cash to just buy what we want so we don't incur another car note. And so we are able to just stay on that course of maintaining our debt freedom status, again, which then allows us to do more for others, because that's ultimately what we're trying to do.
How do you teach people to get there? I know you work with thousands and thousands of individuals, families. How do you teach people?
One, you got to meet people where they're at first and foremost. I know I was intentional about certain things when it came to finances, but everybody has their own relationship with money. Everybody has their own financial trauma that they are dealing with in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So for me, it's first doing an assessment of what you working with. What are we dealing with here? What does this picture look like? For some people, it's credit card debt. For some people, it's rent. For some people, it's leased cars. Whatever it may be, you want to kind of corral people in terms of, hey, okay, these are the things we can get taken care of quick. These are the things that's going to take a little bit more time. Let's put a plan in place to knock these things out.
I know you said it's very important for you and your wife to be people who others, particularly people in the Black community, can look at and say, hey, look at this Black family. They live beneath their means. They did that. And to paint that picture, no, like, this is what a Black couple really looks like. Why is that so important to you?
Man, it's so important. Our culture needs all the examples they can get of real, loving, faithful marriage, because the narrative that's going around in the media and the tearing down of relationships, marriages, and the thing that it's doing in terms of making people think that there's real love don't exist. We want to show, or we at least, I don't even say we want, we live it out every day. We want to show people, nope, it's some young couples out here that ain't with the foolishness, that ain't messy, that ain't into the gossip, that live right, that do right, that's truly in love, that's truly making an impact in the world. And that message very rarely, if ever, gets told. And we're sitting here like, man, it exists. We've been rocking for 14 years, and nobody could tell us that we not real. Nobody can tell us that we didn't get it out the mud, and nobody can tell us that we didn't do all of these things without having a silver spoon, without having a handout, without starting on third base. We just grinded out 2 kids from Michigan State.
You know, I want to ask you because there's always going to be things that maybe you're not completely aligned on.
Yep.
What was one of those things financially with you and your wife that you guys had to compromise on?
That's a great question, Angela. A thing that we had to compromise on was, I'll say this. It was more, my wife is what you guys are, strong, independent women, Black women at that. My wife, dealing with me, a strong Black male, she was so accustomed to getting it in on her own. She was already well-to-do for herself. It's little things like this was our issue. Her trying to bring the groceries in and take the trash out. It was stuff like, hold on, all right, I bring the groceries in, you could take the trash out, or vice versa. It was more of those dynamics. We had 2, as I often say, well-to-do individuals. Before we retired, I worked in higher education, for example. She worked in healthcare. We both held positions of power and leadership. And so I knew how she was rocking. I knew how she was coming to the table. I knew the degrees and the education she earned while in school, same for myself. So we were good in that regard, but it was more about us being equally yoked in our thoughts around money that helped make the difference. I often talk to couples about making sure your partner...
You wrote a book about this.
Absolutely.
Finding Real Love.
Yeah.
In the love and hip-hop era.
Making sure your partner is aligned with what your goals are. So I talk to people every day, and couples will call me and they'll say, my man, he wants to sports gamble or do this, and I want to save. Or the guy will be like, man, my girl want to keep shopping and buying bags and Jordans, and I want to start saving. And so off top, you see the disconnect between 2 people that's not aligned. We were from the get-go.
Can I just point out that sometimes those bags do become a good investment?
Yeah, I hear that. I hear people say that.
I do want to put that out there.
I do hear that.
I see you got the nice watch on, though. What about investing in things like watches? And is that something that you also do and look at? Because I know people will say, yeah.
Wow.
We are... A timepiece is not a bad investment. We don't overly do it.
Okay.
But we from the trenches. We do like to have nice things. We're not the type that got this wealth and don't know how to add some sauce to it now.
Right.
But
I can look at both of you and see
we don't go crazy either. We don't go crazy either.
Well, talk about your beginnings. You have another book called Dumb Athlete, which
Yep.
is about the first 27 years of your life. And I know I looked at that, and two things that really stood out is you had a friend who got shot and killed
Absolutely.
when he was like 12 or 13 years old, and you thought, and everybody thought that's what was going to happen. How did that not happen to you?
Typically, for all of us, everybody in this room, man, that those of us that grew up in the trenches, they all thought that we would be dead or in jail by 25, and my story was no different. I had a homeboy that lived right up the street from me, and that was his fate. And so when it hit so close to home, you often think you might be next. And so that reality, coupled with the fact I had a brother that was doing 25 years in prison at the time, and so all the narratives that was being pushed about black men were, I was at least seeing real life examples of them in my present at the time. And so I was like, not me. That became my mantra back then, not me. I don't care what the stats are, they're not talking about me. I won't be that. And I often say in my book, we are a product of our expectations, not our environment. I expected to graduate. I expected to go on and make something of myself. And so the moves and the decisions I made were in alignment with that.
But you had sports. You were a gifted athlete.
Absolutely. I was a two-sport star in high school. I played both football and basketball. But what happened with that even was something that I look back on now was a blessing. But I ended up going to Michigan State and had to walk on. And when you are accustomed to getting a red carpet treatment, I had to learn very early on how to embrace not having a spotlight. I had to first overcome the test of being overlooked in order to be the person I wanted to ultimately come out and be. And so for me, it took everything in me at the time when I was going through being a walk-on, not having a red carpet treatment. And for the first time, I was able to see like, dang, this was my teammates was probably feeling like in high school.
Right. And
it kind of sets you up because now you fast forward when you were going through it, you looking like, God, what's going on, man? I know this ain't what it's supposed to be. And all the while he was preparing me for where we're at today. I often say most people see the end result, but very few consider the journey. And most people didn't understand sometimes the things we are going through are really preparing us for what's greater and what's coming later.
When you think about these student athletes now with these NIL deals, and you've talked about how both you and your wife did not financially have it like that, how do you think you might have been different? Like, you think you would still be this person that is retired at 37? Because imagine, being young and not having that financial savvy and then having access to money.
Man, I can only imagine how difficult that is because the education piece is still the thing that's missing, no matter how much money the athletes are getting at the college level or the young rookie at that level. My thing would be, would I be the same? I can't say. I think what I went through prepared me for how I came out. Now, I did know, even though I didn't make it to the NFL, I was only looking to be that guy with like a 3 to 5 year career. And the things that you guys see me doing now would have been the things I was doing. The philanthropy, the stuff with the youth, the stuff with the athletes. I was going to do that anyway. I was just going to have former NFL star Chris Sain gives back to the community. I just don't have that tagline right now. That's all it is. So yeah, so it all worked out. But I think about these athletes all the time in terms of, will the money derail them because they might not ever see that substantial of money at one time if things don't pan out for their athletic
You and I have
careers.
that in common. I was an athlete too, and my work in financial literacy started by creating financial education programs for athletes, the Giants, Washington Mystics. And we hear all this, they blow their money, they go broke. But when you dig down into it, the number one reason athletes go broke are friends and family.
Yep.
And they also go broke because of overconfidence. The overconfidence you have to develop for sports, they bring it to their money game. Oh, I'm going to invest in this so it'll do whatever.
Or they think they're going to get another contract after that first one.
That expectation.
Or they have a few kids.
Yeah, child support
and a few people to pay.
Yeah.
The friends and family part's huge. My son was also an athlete, and they just early scripting. We helped you make it. When you make it, you owe us. You have 10 people holding their hands out. And as he's still in college in that athlete's world, and I see these kids are getting all these money, but it's the same pressures.
Absolutely,
It's
man.
absolutely the same pressures.
Family is a tricky dynamic. We call it the black tax. Sometimes when you make it in the black community, every family member either thinks you owe them something, feel entitled, and
Friends too.
Friends, the
Everybody.
whole gamut, and so they don't understand the toll that takes, especially for the person that's not financially savvy yet that falls victim to that. If you start spending money and buying houses and buying cars, and you like Angela said, you're not guaranteed to get that next contract. You might have kids. You got your own family and responsibilities. That money ain't guaranteed. That career, you one injury away from it all being over with. And nobody accounts for those dynamics for the athlete.
How do you handle family and friends, since we just talked about it? Like, if you had to give somebody advice that is going through that, what's a good way to maneuver?
Man, I'm actually going through it currently as we speak.
You're like, somebody tell me.
So Clarissa Shields is up here, man, and she spoke to it. And a lot of what she alluded to, my family has that same dynamic we're currently playing out right now. And for me, I'm blessed to be a little bit more, I'm the financial savant. I'm the financial savvy person. So
And they see you giving money away to people.
Yeah.
They're probably
Like,
like,
whoa, whoa,
oh, you gonna
whoa.
go away $1 million? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm right here.
Right.
I do believe that's some of the thinking.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with that. These entities are oftentimes 501c3s.
Yep.
These entities help give us a tax advantage. It's more strategic than what it might look like on social media. And I don't think family understands that dynamic, let alone just that you still have a team to pay. You have
It's not just though you don't want to be an enabler. You don't want to enable
Exactly.
their bad behavior.
And it
but
never
people-
stops, too.
Yeah.
By the way, like, once you say yes and do something, it's not like, thank you so much, I will exit and never bother you again. It's
No.
like, you did it then, and then if you say no one time.
Yeah, the ungratefulness and the entitlement is something that really is a challenge when you give, especially to family and friends, because it's almost this attitude that you owe them or they deserve more or why you're not doing X, Y, and Z. And so that's a tricky dynamic to navigate. I just try to, I always said this, out the gate, I gave my family over $250,000. I blessed my friends, and I told myself, this is my gift to all of them.
Don't expect it back.
I don't expect it back. If I don't do nothing else for them, I'm okay.
Right.
Wow. Well, let's talk about your giving. You have, what's it called? 100 days? No, you have the 100K challenge.
But the 100 days of giving.
The 100
which
Days
we'll
of
talk
Giving
about. You have
initiative.
100 days of
Yep.
giving, and you're giving away $1 million.
Absolutely. So
The pull-up season. Let's go.
We pull up on a lot of people, man. We love to, my wife and I love to see their faces, man, when they see us pull up and hop out with that money. And we know, man, people are struggling right now in these economic times. People need as much help as possible. And so for me, what it started from is I had a nonprofit since 2008. And I remember for 10 years, it's 20 years old now, 20 plus years old now, but for 18 or nearly 20 years of it, we didn't get no funding. And I remember being in the trenches on the front line, doing all of this work, all this community good, and I never got not $1. I never complained, but I always told God, man, if you bless me, I'm going to be what I wish somebody was to me. So, Angela, a lot of this giving I do, man, is because I wish when I was out there doing all the stuff for the youth, all the guys that's coming from the joint or prison, all the stuff I was doing for so many people, I was like, you know what, this is what I wish somebody would have did for me and my organization. So that's what you guys essentially see me doing around the world for others.
I always say it's a blessing to be a blessing.
Absolutely.
Because it also just feels amazing to know that you can bless somebody and it's just
it's a good
someone who's
feeling.
doing great work too that can
and
really.
that's the thing. You are so right, man, Angela. You see so many dope people online. You see so many dope people in various communities. But to be able to do something about it, do something positive about it, is the thing that my wife and I enjoy. And so sometimes we'll see somebody. We have a team that vet people, but sometimes we'll just see somebody that was on your show. Like, we gonna pull up on the Urban League. I think you had her up here.
Yeah.
I like what I heard you guys talking about. That might be an example.
Or
And
Gooder.
so,
She'll be on
Yeah.
next week. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And so it's that ability to see something and then be able to do something in real time.
You know, you also posted a video asking everyday people to share what they're going through financially, and it did go viral. What did you learn from some of those real stories?
Man, it's always good to keep a pulse on the people and to hear, because sometimes at our level you can be a little bit removed from some of that day-to-day struggle, and so I always love to touch the people to hear just what some of the challenges are, and it keeps me grounded. It keeps me anchored in humility, Angela, in terms of like knowing, one, man, I got to do more. People need help. But two, it ain't all good for everybody, no matter how we're making it look online.
Yeah.
There's real people out here struggling. And so it just makes me want to be able to see how we can do more for people and how we can be a blessing where we can be.
I saw only 25% of Americans are financially secure.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Absolutely. And that in and of itself tells you how they're one emergency away. They're one car breakdown away. They're one missed payment. They're one AI lay off 7,000 people at this job away from, again, their life and their trajectory being totally different, or being in a food stamp. Like, oh, that even got disrupted lately. So,
Yeah. That's about to run out because of the shutdown.
the government shutdown. Absolutely. So you see all of these different dynamics at play, which shows you the struggle that our people are dealing with. And so that's why we try to stand in the gap too, whether it's helping and supporting Black women that has been impacted by the DEI cuts, whether it's supporting guys freshly home from prison trying to navigate, or athletes who got cut and they're trying to figure out what their next situation going to look like. I always see a problem and I'm trying to be a solution.
When you say you're retired, though, you guys are not retired. I just want to put that out there.
I feel like
You know,
Linda
it's a-
Good Witches.
Yeah.
They just go around doing good things.
Not retired. You're just
When
doing what you want to do.
Exactly.
Man, that's the blessing in it all. Somebody said,
My retirement's gonna look a lot different.
somebody said, y'all just retired from y'all corporate jobs.
Yeah.
That's what y'all did.
Exactly.
He transitioned into a different.
No, Angela, we retire, and it's been 5 years. How fast time go. But we retire, and check this out. When all of that happened, for us, we just was chilling. But both of us are go-getters. Like we were, like I said, we were the top people in our respective institutions before retirement and stuff like that. So what happened was we started telling our story on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, my wife, she gets busy in the kitchen. She cooks. She just a dope all around.
Right
chick.
after she brings in the groceries, and then she cooks, and,
And
then she
takes-
takes out
and
the
then-
trash.
That was the young her. That was the young
She's
her.
out in that garden picking them vegetables.
That was the young her. But no, we started telling look, I worked in higher education for 10 years. She used to pack she's a dietitian, so she eat healthy. She cook healthy stuff, but it tastes real good. And she would pack my lunch every day. And I would take my little lunch to school, to work. And,
to school.
I got on YouTube, Angela, and was telling the world, like, hey, man, this is how we put it down. I keep a hat on, but underneath here, I keep my hair buttered and all that kind of stuff. So I cut my own hair.
And you got a hairline. We're proud of you.
Yeah, all of that. So I cut my own hair. I'm saving money there. She packed my lunches. So I was on YouTube telling people, man, this is how we became millionaires. This is how we became debt free. My YouTube channel blew up. I had 0 subscribers, Angela. My YouTube channel blew up from us talking about that. And then somebody in the comments was like, what you invest in, bro? And I was like, man, I just buy mutual funds and ETFs and index funds. Stacy, from
That's what
there,
took on a whole
it took
nother
my
life.
YouTube. I went from 0 subscribers to 1,000. My birthday, July 17th. This is all 2020. I had 0 subscribers. I went to 1,000 in June. My birthday, July 17th, I had 10,000 subscribers. Mind you guys, we debt free, telling and doing all of this stuff. By the end of the year, I had 100,000 subscribers. We made $200,000 that year on YouTube. So imagine being debt free.
Wow.
And then you get a free 200,000 essentially on top of that.
That you weren't even expecting.
That you weren't even expecting.
That was the stock market. Everybody was in love with the stock market.
Absolutely.
Everybody wanted to invest in the stock market
It
in
went
2020.
crazy.
That's why so many people flock to you. But what I love about you have this 100K challenge
Yes.
coming up. It's free. It's free. It's amazing how
Yep,
many
I do.
different people. You're not just talking about stocks.
Absolutely, man. I have a holistic approach to financial literacy to helping people build wealth in the stock market. And that's from everything. I need your financial foundation to be right. Everything from your Roth IRA, your HSA, which is a health savings account, down to your money market accounts and high yield savings accounts. I'm getting all of your stuff together, your debt, student loan, all the stuff, including, and then we get to the stocks. And so the 100K challenge is a free challenge I do every year. It's a legendary initiative that we have that people can participate in, so I can teach them, show them, and walk alongside them to help them go from 0 to 100K. And so everybody joins each and every year. Some people join at the beginning of the year, some people join halfway through, but no matter when you join, the lessons, the nuggets, the gems that I'm dropping every day will help you get your money right.
And you start on January 1st?
We start on January 1st, and I teach them everything from how to invest, how to read a chart, how to buy their first investment, how to put their money on autopilot, just the nuances that still are not talked about enough in our community, and still are things that not enough of us are engaged in at the level we need to be engaged at.
What's the top thing you think people should be thinking about given this whole new economic reality we're in right now? It's funny, you and Angela were just talking about only 25% of the people feel financially secure.
Mm-hmm.
That's the 1%.
Or are financially
Are
secure.
financially secure. That's the 1%. They're supporting 50% of this economy.
Absolutely.
That also means we are one stock market
Crash
away
Yep.
from a complete depression.
Yeah.
How do you tell people to prop themselves up in this environment?
Man, you have to always prepare for a rainy day, no matter how good things are going. Matter of fact, when the market is at all-time highs like it is today and right now.
Is it?
Yeah, this is when Apple just hit an all-time high today. But what you have to do is be thinking about, okay, everything that go up must come down. This don't last always. We're going to have a 2022. We're going to have a 2020 again. May not be COVID, but those conditions will repeat themselves. And so you want to be prepared for that. Matter of fact, you want to have your dry powder ready, which is cash on the sideline, while the current things you're investing in continue to do its thing. So when the market pulls back, you have money readily available to go invest and buy assets while they're low so they can go up and
You're
work
talking
on
about
your
diversification.
behalf. Absolutely.
And also thinking about real estate, and I know we touched on that a little bit, and I keep seeing so many people talking about real estate. People are very nervous about, people are waiting to see what's going to happen. They're waiting for rates to go down.
Yep.
People are talking about the cost of building. And then I see all these like gurus saying why renting is better than buying and things like that. So I definitely want to get what your experience has been when it comes to real estate and what you would say to people who are like, oh, I don't think I even want to think about that.
Man, Angela be coming with it, boy. Let me tell y'all this. The stock market to me is easier. The barrier to entry is a lot easier to get in the stock market. When it comes to real estate, my wife and I told you at the beginning of this show, we own everything. Houses, cars, the whole nine. Our house, we paid $600. Our house is paid off, but when we had a mortgage, our house, which is very nice, was $600 a month. This is the power of how you build wealth. Imagine the people that's paying rent $1,200, $1,800, $2,000 to something you don't even own. When we own a house that we were paying $600 on, and because that payment, we just rent $1,200. Okay, we're gonna make 2 payments since that's what everybody else is paying to get that paid off even quicker. I think real estate and ownership is the way to go in my personal estimation, but the stock market is even a easier vehicle to build wealth and for wealth creation.
But it's both.
That's
For people, it's both.
diversification, right?
Diversification, yeah, that's what both of you guys have spoke to. So yeah, it's both, but the stock market would be first. Real estate would be second. Real estate offer the tax advantages. That's why we need to be in real estate. Angela does a great job with all the stuff she does in Detroit and her real estate portfolio.
It definitely helped me with my,
it's a game
that
changer.
building it definitely was a game changer when it comes
Yep.
as much, but it is a lot more work and effort. I do want to say, like, doing real estate, it's not a set it and go. Like, I mean, depending on how you do it, but it is effort that goes into, especially having great management. And then every day I'm getting emails about, something that's happening, but we have management that handles it, but at least I know what's going on.
Absolutely.
But
our community is comfortable with real estate.
Yep.
Because we used to
It's
be
tangible.
property.
Yep. It's tangible. They can see it. Yep.
And our early messages were about home ownership from our grandfathers and stuff, but get some land, get some property.
Understandable.
how important is it having liquid cash or something that you can like cash out quickly? Because sometimes, especially with stocks, it's not necessarily always something that you can access. And
on those little micro investing accounts, you still got to wait for your 3 to 5, sometimes 7 days to get your hands on the money.
The stock, Angela is on point. Having liquid cash, that's what we pride ourselves in. My wife and I, we're asset rich and liquid rich. We got it both ways. My thing is the stock market does allow you to access that money relatively
Pretty
quickly.
quick.
You know what I'm saying? Versus like the selling of a house. If somebody put their house on the market and nobody buy it, you're still waiting for that offer. With the stock market, I got $1 million in Netflix. If I needed 500,000 of that, I can go I can sell half of the shares to access 500K of that $1 million that I got sitting in Netflix. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, and I also saw you invested in Fanbase.
Yep.
So talk to me about Fanbase and what made you decide to do that.
I'm an investor in general. I'm a sports and tech investor, and Fanbase is a platform for social media, and I always want to support us, number one. Number two, I feel like we don't control our narrative. I know, like I told you, I get busy on YouTube, but imagine having equity and ownership in something. And I think Fanbase allows that. Now, I do think there's some work that needs to be done on that app. I would love to see the Kai Cenats of the world on those apps doing record numbers and being the first to million subscribers or streamers on that type of thing. But for me, it's important that we see us supporting us. Too often time I'm seeing black people tearing down black people on social media, and you ain't gonna never get that from me. I'm gonna big up everybody. I'm gonna love on everybody. And if
I'm gonna just mind my business.
I'm gonna mind my business or invest or sow a seed into what you're doing. And I just want to lead by example. And so that's all it was for Fanbase. I invest in a lot of stuff. Some stuff is public. Some stuff you'll never know about. But
how risky would you say that is, or how lucrative has that been?
Those are what we call private equity type investments. And Angela, to be honest, you do it with the intent of two things. You're going to hold it for 7 to 10 years, and you may not get nothing. So I might lose all 25,000 of that I invested in Fanbase, or it might get bought out by Facebook or another app, and I might turn 25,000 into 1 million.
Right.
And so that's the risk.
And then people would be so mad at him, like, we rolled with you for this, and then you sold it to Facebook.
People are always gonna get mad.
No, they do.
Sold your face.
Yeah. So.
Well, how can people sign up for the challenge?
So if you sign up and you want to take part in this year's 100K challenge for 2026, you go to chrissain.com/100K challenge. Everything that you want to be a part of as it relates to investing and building wealth in the stock market will be on my website, chrissain.com, but the 100K challenge will be /100K challenge.
And you're going to come back in January to launch that challenge,
I'm looking forward to it, yes. I'm looking forward to it. I want to launch it. I want as many people as possible to take advantage of their financial future, and it starts with you making that first decision to invest.
Chris Sain.
And I know you got another book you're working on.
Yeah, man, I am. I said
The Adventures of Angela and Stacy.
Yeah. I am. I'm working on another book just because I need to update my life. I wrote a memoir about my life when I was young.
It stopped at 27.
And it stopped at 27. And I done did so much stuff from then to now that I think others would be interested in knowing about.
Is it going to be in the same book department and category? The second
Yeah,
half?
it might be in the financial space, but it'll still have that autobiography feel to it.
Okay.
We love all the things.
Yes, it
You
could be
should.
called
So many
Smart
things.
Athlete.
This time.
See, she knows you can book right here.
We like that.
Angela, ChatGPT, you'll be done in an hour.
Yes, sir. That's the power of technology.
Well, thank you so much for coming to Wealth Wednesdays.
Man,
and
thank you
everybody
guys for
follow
having
Chris on Instagram. It's just at Chris Sain.
Yep.
And if you go to Wealth Wednesdays newsletter, teamwealthwednesdays.com, guess who is our feature this week? We have a special on Mr. Chris Sain
Oh,
himself.
that's what's up.
Happy
That's
Wealth
what's
Wednesdays,
up.
everybody.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you.